When the demand for the course rose, university authorities took on additional academic staff. The trip for professional training will start soon, so pack the items before we leave. The competency of language in the assignment is to use more formal words. Lots of students have their money and passports stolen, especially at night. Ideally, free trade is beneficial for trading with two partners. This is how we deliver healthcare to millions of people all over the world. Only those who are over 18 years of age are eligible to open a bank account in our bank. It is argued that students can learn more collaborating rather than as individuals. Our capacity to respond to national needs will determine our ability to flourish. The university has a lot of travel scholarships available that students can apply for.
The goal for a lot of tech companies today, figure out what you, their customer, want next before you even ask. It's driven by something called similarity search.
If you go to YouTube and you watch a video, they're going to suggest similar videos to that one that you're watching, right? That's similarity search. If you go to Amazon and look for similar products to the one that you're going to buy, that's similarity search.
Saket Navlika, a computer scientist at the Salk Institute. He says we do similarity searches too, for example, when we scan faces in a crowd for the one we know. And even fruit flies do a version related to smell.
So the fly is having to solve a similar problem of kind of searching through its database of previous experiences and previous odors that it has smelled to determine what should be the most appropriate behavioral response to that odor.
But flies tag incoming odors differently from the way modern search algorithms parse similarity. A small group of neurons makes an initial evaluation of the smell, then a much larger set of neurons is activated to make a final decision about the smell, rather than the way a computer similarity search does it, which is taking something with many dimensions and simplifying it down to a few. So Navlika and his colleagues tweaked computer similarity search functions to do it fly style, and then pitted the fly-inspired algorithms against conventional ones. And the biologically inspired code won out, better at telling like from unlike on an image similarity test.
Evolution figured it out. It figured out a really elegant solution to this very important problem.
Happy New Year! And if you've been away from work for a few days, you deserve some time off. After all, you've traveled far, even if you just stayed at home. According to NASA, just by being on the planet Earth in the last year, you zipped about 584 million miles around the sun at an average speed of about 67,000 miles per hour. Hey, I wasn't speeding in my inertial reference frame. Of course, the trip was not a perfect circle. As Kepler showed, the Earth's orbit is an ellipse, with the sun at one of the two focal points. He also figured out the planet goes faster when it's at perihelion, nearer the sun, than when it's at aphelion, its furthest distance, which would explain why summer seems to zip by, except that the seasons are a function of the tilt of the Earth's axis, not its different distances from the sun. And the Earth rotated 365.25 times during its sweep around the sun. The trip took 8,766 hours, or 525,960 minutes, or 31,557,600 seconds. Tick-tock.
The more astronomers study the heavens, the more they realize our solar system is weird.
So there are a few things that make the solar system kind of strange.
Lauren Weiss, an astrophysicist at the University of Montreal.
One of which is that we have a giant planet. Only about 10% of sun-like stars have a giant planet. There are probably even fewer that have two giant planets.
In addition to giant Jupiter and lesser giant Saturn, we have tiny Mercury, just a bit bigger than the Earth's moon. So if we're weird, what does a typical solar system look like? Weiss and her team trained their telescopes on 355 star systems, known to host a handful of small exoplanets. And they found that most of the planets within individual star systems tended to be similar in size.
So if I'm a planet and I'm, say, 2 times the size of Earth, my neighbor, the next planet over, is also likely to be 2 times the size of Earth, give or take a little bit.
And they were strung out at similar distances from each other, too, like peas in a pod, she says. Compared to that orderly array, our system looks more like...
Let's see, if I stick with food, I don't know, like a whole Thanksgiving dinner or something.
The results are in the Astronomical Journal. As for hunting for habitable worlds...
If we are trying to find, say, an Earth-sized planet in the habitable zone...
Not too close to the star, but not too far away either.
And we find an Earth-sized planet closer in, it might be worthwhile to continue searching for planets around that star.
Because there might just be a few more peas in the pod.
What is the short piece of music that comes before a longer piece, and is often used as an introduction? What is the ground military forces? Apart from addition, subtraction, and division, what is the other mathematical calculation method? What do we call the legal document that states how people's property should be allotted after their deaths? What is the antonym of horizontal? What do you call the person who plays musical instruments as a job? What do you throw underwater to keep ships staying on rivers or oceans without drifting away? What is the occupation that transfers one language to another language? Apart from coffee and tea, what beverages also contain caffeine? What is contained in poisonous animals?